Hello, hello. Welcome to CH Poser Brews. I'm Tim, and tonight I am joined by my friends Island Time, Mr. Jamaican Dude. Say hi.
Hi.
And by our other friend, Joe0. Say hi, Joe. We decided to do a few of the Ask a Spike Q&A questions, and we let Joe pick out a couple. There's some spicy ones, and then we're going to chat about them. So, Joe, where can people find you on the interwebs, good sir?
I'm in some of the Discords. My Discord name is Joe0, and then I'm on the competitive EDH subreddit, shit posting all the time. So,
Is Joe0, Joe01, Joe012?
there's a lot of zeros and ones in my Reddit
0123.
No,
I think
just
one of
zeros
them.
and ones.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you actually spell out Joe-O in binary or some shit?
No, that's kind of clever though.
And Sean, what you been up to, man?
Your boys on the MLC. Yay!
First question comes from Anonymous, quotation marks. They were inquiring. They were wanting to know what something like you want. Okay. They would like to know what a good shell is for a CDH deck, like kind of like how the Command Zone does, like their 10 ramp, 10 card draw, 3 board wipe, 6 spot removal. They were curious as to like what would make a good shell, especially like for like a budget deck, but overall. So I got thoughts on this. Would anybody care to go before I do?
No, because I don't really understand this question, so you go first.
Okay. So my thought is that you really can't make like a shell, especially with like CDH decks, because a lot of what goes into the deck, like how much ramp, how much card draw, how many lands, what types of ramp, what types of lands, what type of spot removal, what type, are really all are very like archetype specific and very like commander specific. Like, for example, like most of the Turbo Nos lists, like I think between the ramp, like the artifact ramp and the rituals and dockside and lands, like almost like 55% of the deck is literally just fast mana. And then you have like 5 slots dedicated to essentially combo wins, which is like in the form of Breach, Brain Freeze, and Consult, and Adnaz, and so maybe 6 total. And then the rest of it is tutors and interaction. So the thing with CDH decks is that the optimization generally tends to make your combo packages very compact. And even though they tend to kind of carry over from deck to deck to deck, the idea is to make them as compact as possible. So therefore, it's not uncommon for 90 to 92 cards to essentially just be ramp, some type of acceleration, some type of card draw, and tutors with some interaction sprinkled in. Most of the decks, at least in the Turbo Nos, most of their removal is actually just bounce spells of various sorts, because they want to be able to have double utility of bouncing their docksides and stuff to help them generate more mana. So they're very, very slanted heavily like that. Whereas if you built like a mid-range deck, like a CST or something, that number of fast mana drops pretty dramatically comparatively. Like, you still play some rituals, you do play a lot of rocks and dorks, but you also tend to kind of you're maybe running like 50 total fast mana sources at that point, 48, because I think you run about 28 lands, and then like, you know, another 10 to 15, like 15 more like roughly fast mana of some sort. And then you have your tutors and your card draw. But a lot of the card draw in those mid-range style of decks tends to be more like, I mean, it does run wheels and does run Nas, but they tend to be more like Thrasios activations, where it's like that steady incremental card draw to kind of keep you going. Whereas if you play like a hard control deck, like a stacks deck, there's even less ramp, most generally, less card draw, and you tend to have a lot more like board, like board interaction, permanent based interaction, usually in the form of like rule laws, like that type of stuff. So there's and all of those numbers can vary based on like who the commander is, what colors you're in, and so it's really all over the place. As a rule of thumb, I can at least attest to like the mana base. Most decks will run between 28 and 31 lands at the most. And 31 tends to be like low color control lists, like stacks lists, like Heliod or what I think even Urza runs like 30 at most, 29. So having like a template is pretty difficult, honestly. You guys got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. To touch on like the lands, I know most people run like 28 to 30 lands in their decks no matter what, but like I found that in like the Turbo Nas lists, you really should be on like 25 or 26 just because the density of no, I mean I ran the numbers and like that's where I landed and I found that to work pretty well. Just because you're on the like you don't care about land drops on turn like 7, 8, 9 because the game's not supposed to get there, right? And you're on all that super fast mana and your rituals. So like the way I'm looking at it is like, okay, I'm slotting out like 3, maybe 4 lands for like rituals and things that are just getting me there faster. But really like I don't strafe. So like I'll do 25, 26 or 29, 30. Like, and so that's where like the shell I would say is it's just strictly in land count.
Okay. Sean, what about you?
I don't know. I think I disagree with the whole thing. Actually, I think like with colors, like with color identity, like Sultai and all of that. Maybe archetypes are different. I think I can agree with that, but like the archetype and the same color, I think most lists are the same. Like I literally think you could use a core. This is the core 80, 100 cards of Sultai. I think this is the core 80 to 100 cards of Abzan. I really think you can actually make a template for that. I really do. I really, if you really just look over all the decks, as long as they share the same archetype, they play the same cards.
I mean, even if they don't share the same archetype, like they're still sharing like 70 to 80 cards if they're in colors.
I really think you could. Like that's a good question. Maybe someone should do it. Like I think we can make a template for colors. I really think so.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 color maybe gets a little different because of how people play styles when you get to like the 4 color soup or the 5 color soup decks. But like I think 3 to 2 colors, I think you've seen the same set of cards.
Well, Sean, yeah, maybe you can make some template resources then.
I mean, there's what like 32 color combinations or somewhere in that ballpark.
Is there? I really don't. Like after they fall off names, that's kind of it for me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like you have 6 single color combinations.
Right.
No, let's be honest. There's 5.
Hey man, there's a colorless deck on the deck database now.
What is it?
It's in the meme section.
It's in the meme section.
Yeah. Karn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude pushed it pretty hard. So.
Yeah. So there's 6 color single combinations.
There's 5 colors and 1 color. Yes.
But like, then you have 5. Then you have what? 4.
10 color pairings.
Yeah, I think it's probably like 30, 32 is where I think it's at. It's more than 20.
Yeah, it's more than 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So like so instead of like one template like the command zone does, we'd really end up at like a shit ton of templates.
Yeah.
A lot of the templates would have a lot of overlap though.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's just for the color pairing. I mean, I think maybe for 1 to 2 colors, you can get a little diversity because that's kind of card choices for players and what the deck does. But I think when you hit 3 colors, I think that does all overlap, 3 to 4.
There is a lot of overlap. I mean, even if there's some delineation between them, there's still just like a decent amount of
Yeah, because
carryover.
I mean, once you're at like 3 colors, you're just picking like for like your filler cards, I guess. You're like
Yeah,
picking the best of what's available for each of the
right.
colors. So
Mhm.
you're just like,
Right.
I don't care about colors. Like, if I'm in green, I'm probably playing Sylvan Library. Like,
Yeah, you just played all the greatest hits. So I really think on that. It kind of just maybe say like
I
it's
mean,
really the total opposite of what you just said, Tim. But I think there it
that's
could be.
legit. That's the whole that's the great thing about having an opinion. Like they can be different, and we don't have to argue about it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I think definitely could be a completely. Maybe we'll look into it. Maybe see what's out there.
Well, we're gonna have some extra pages on the website soon, so maybe you can
Look at there. Look at there.
contribute to some of that. Joe, where can everybody meet you?
on the
Where can
internet.
they interact with you on the interwebs? One more time for the
Uh,
for the going away.
I'm in various Commander Discords. You can find my name on Discord's Joe0, and then on Reddit, I'm a shit poster, Joe with a bunch of zeros and ones.
They're all Smurf accounts. Don't reply to them. Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Deke is in the chat still.
Yeah, Deke's still there. Have a terrible flight. That's right. Well, I'm Timmy T1000 with my buddy Jamaican dude who had to step away for a minute, hence why we have his lovely GT portrait up. If you like what you see here, hit the like, share, subscribe, blast the bell. If you'd like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/CDH Budget Brews. Give us $1. It helps keep the lights on, pay for all the stuff, the website, things like that. And have a good night.